The Alan Ritchson situation is kind of making me lose faith in humans at this point because, like, what is going on? And the fact that there's so many different opinions about it and a lot of people are saying he's at fault it's got me questioning, and it's made me realize why we live in the world we live in now. So if you didn't know, last couple of days, Alan Ritchson has been put on the freaking chopping block because a video surfaced of him basically pummeling his neighbor, and apparently his neighbor did nothing. Alan was going around on his bike, making a lot of noise, speeding with his two kids, by the way. So I don't, first of all, speeding with his two kids, that didn't make sense off rip, but let's just go with the story. He's speeding, making noises, and his neighbor came out to tell him, hey, this isn't right. People live here. Kids are out here. You can't be speeding, and you're showing a bad example for your kids. Things like that, right? And Alan got pissed and just got off his bike and beat the brakes off his neighbor. That is the story that TMZ put out. And over the last 24 hours, people have been going in on Alan. People calling for him to lose his role in Reacher and never be casted for a movie because he's a terrible person. How can someone that big and strong attack his neighbor who was basically a smaller man? That is the misuse of strength. And I was sitting there thinking, like, there is no way people are going to this conclusion when there's like only one side of the story out. But luckily for everyone who held their thoughts until we got both sides of the picture, Alan had a body cam on while he was doing this. So that tells me either he just does it for his own safety, or this isn't a thing that just started happening. This person has been bothering him for quite a while, and he decided that, hey, I'm gonna keep this thing on me. So if anything happens, if he pushes me over the edge, I have proof that I just didn't attack him. Which, if that is the case, does say in my head that, that could have mean you premeditated this like encounter and your reaction was premeditated in a way. But when we did see Alan's side of the story, he was literally going around with his kids at reasonable speeds, mind you, in his neighborhood, on his bike, right? And this guy quite literally jumped right in front of him while he was moving. Not while he stopped or something. No, he was moving and this guy went right in front of him, which made Alan have to hold on the brakes. And when he held down, he literally wiped out, fell over on the bike, right? And hit the ground and was like, yo, dude, why would you do that? And the guy was yapping, talking about all sorts of blah, 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 blah. And Alan just kept saying, why do you do that? That is so dangerous. Stay away from me, blah, blah, blah. Got back on his bike and basically tried to keep going. And the guy pushed him twice, mind you.
If you do, can't you use that? Are you fucking kidding me, bro? What? What? Get what? Stand in front of a again, dude. But doing what? You threatened my safety, bro. Are you kidding me? I should not be the fuck out of here. Go ahead, go down. You're going out. I've called the BPD. I've called them already because you've been driving around this neighborhood like a lunatic. Really, there's kids running around it. Go ahead. It's all covered. Go ahead. Are you drunk right now, bro? Go ahead. Are you drinking? Go ahead. Call police. Out of your mind, dude. Call the police. Go. You.
When Alan said, you know what, enough is enough, and gave the man a few licks, you know what I'm saying? Give him a few licks. Now, he did do this in front of his sons, and people were saying, what kind of examples is he putting this? He's telling his sons that if you're in a world where people think they can just stop you and they can do all these things to you, put their hands on you, and you can't do anything back, you don't stand for that, which, honestly, I agree with. If you're gonna put your hands on me, if you're gonna make me wipe out, I don't do nothing. I say, yo, we got like you better chill, leave me alone, I'm gonna be on my way. And then you put your hands on me, again, you're getting your hands put on you. I don't care what everyone's saying, oh, he's a bigger man, blah, blah. You put your hands on me, I'm putting my hands back on you. It's called self-defense, buddy. I'm not gonna sit here and teach my two children that it's okay for someone to put their hands on you and get away with it. No, we're not doing that. It's called self-defense. And during the whole first argument, before the guy pushed Alan, before Alan beat his ass, basically he said the police are coming. If the police are coming, why are you outside? If the police are on their way and you've called the police and the police are going to deal with it, why are you outside? Why are you jumping in front of someone jumping in front of a moving vehicle? Like, come on, gang. And don't forget, Alan's like 300 pounds of like muscle. You think if he stops at 20 miles an hour, he's not going to like flip over? People are saying he doesn't know how to use the bike. No, he's a very big guy. At that speed, at that weight, there is no way you wouldn't think he would wipe out. Even I would have thought he would wipe out. I'm not an expert here, but I think weight plays a lot of part in it, especially when you're taken by surprise. So this guy said he had called the police and everything, and he still found it necessary and still found out that it was an issue where he had to be outside. He had to stop him by himself. He had to put hands on him and expected nothing to happen. What world do we live in where people think that is okay? Is it okay that Alan hit him? No, when we think about it, he didn't have to hit him. He didn't have to hit him. But would 90% of us do the same thing? 100%. 100%. No, let's be real. 100%. Because you stand up for yourself, especially in front of your children, because they're gonna go live a life away from you, and they need to know that it is okay to stand up for yourself when it matters. And that is the lesson that I believe he taught his sons in that moment. And when you think about someone who's riding with your son, do you think they're going to be speeding or doing anything stupid? No, he's probably out there with his sons, with helmets on, by the way, following all the rules. And from the speeds we saw from his body cam, he was going within the speed limit, meaning he was making sure his sons were driving safe and riding safe. Yet you still had an issue. From the first view, like TMZ, if you literally saw what TMZ first posted and that's what you used to make up your story, you're an idiot. We all know TMZ is fake news. And the fact that TMZ posted that video, and that video went crazy from the point of view of the guy who got beat up. And then when they posted Alan's body cam footage, there was like just echoes. They didn't put the same emphasis on it. And people still don't realize that they're in the wrong, and you're thinking Alan did something wrong. In my opinion, he didn't. We're gonna have to see when it gets to the police and we go to like a lawsuit or whatever. There might not even be a lawsuit because the police will look at it and say, hey, well, it was self-defense. What can we do about that? It just baffles me because a lot of people are just like been calling to end this whole guy's career just off one side of a story that they saw, and they didn't even bother to check or wait for the other side of the story. And it's just appalling because it's like the fact, in my opinion, that Alan gave the guy so much time to step back, look at what you're doing, step back before he hit him. It's like, bro, some of us, bro, gang, as soon as I wiped out, bro, you're going into a chokehold. Kimura, gang, you're not getting out. Until the police get here, you're not getting out. And I'm going to say, I'm self-defense, I'm defending myself, and I got rid of the situation. I contained it. So the fact that he let him walk away and the guy kept following him to the point where he pushed him off his bike, that to me is insane because we have a moving vehicle. Don't forget, during this whole thing, there's a freaking vehicle that is still on that is literally moving. And this guy had the audacity to be pushing and pulling at a guy who's trying to control a vehicle. And people think that is okay, especially in front of this dude's 2 children. And the first video the TMZ put out, they made it look like those kids were the other guy's kids and Alan was putting them in danger. No, you were putting all of them in danger. So how people are mad at this and how this should be a cry for all the channels and networks to drop Alan Ritchson is like, gang, can we stop it? Just because you don't like someone, because he stands up for, well, he's a guy and he doesn't care. He's pretty much unapologetic with anything he does or anything he says. And because you don't like that, you want it to be ruined. And just this little incident where he's actually not really at fault is hey, that's your thing. That's the thing you want to use is crazy to me. But yeah, that's kind of what's going on with Alan Ritchson right now. And it just baffles me because people are really pushing this. We need to get him rid of him. We need to end this. This is enough proof for us to finish him. His career should be over. This is just like, it's like, guys, chill out. Chill out. You would have done the same thing. Your husband, your brother, you would have done the same thing. You all would have done the same thing, especially in that situation, especially when you tell a guy to leave you alone, especially when you try to walk away from the situation. Just thank God Alan had body cam on him because people already are saying it's AI. Oh, he edited the footage. It's AI. It's AI. Thank God he has the footage. And I know that footage is probably gone off to the police who have the unfiltered, unedited footage. And let's see what happens. Let's actually see what happens. I'm interested because from my point of view, from everywhere I'm standing, I feel like he did nothing wrong. In my opinion, he did nothing wrong. And he was, bro, Alan could have toasted that guy. He could have flipped him and turned him into a freaking Cheerio, bro. But he didn't. He gave him a few licks. The guy had 1 bruise on his head and 1 bruise on his chin, and that was about it. Alan probably has more bruises on his body from wiping out. If you think he did something wrong, let me know. Let me know in the comments below. But if you agree with me, let me know your opinions because I feel like this has been blown out of proportion because someone just feels inadequate. They feel like a small man or whatever, and they see Alan, who is rich and famous, and they're like, well, I'm rich too. Just because he's famous doesn't mean he can do anything he wants. And they went after him and they tried to make a show of him or just insurance fraud or just get a case so they get paid out. I don't know what the motive was, but there was definitely a motive there to stop him, specifically him. So I don't know what it is. Maybe he's been pissing off his neighbors. I don't know. But until we see the lawsuit, until we see what the police have to say, or if any statements are made, I think all we can do right now is speculate who's in the right. And from my speculation, Alan Ritchson is in the right. He's the one in the right, and his neighbor is a freaking idiot, a big idiot, and he's lucky he didn't meet someone who's a crash out. But it's your boy Stephlyon. That is my overview on the situation right now. We'll see how it unfolds. Yeah, don't forget, if you liked your opinions, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.